On this episode of Game Shack, I just sold my real-world pinball game. I'm going to explain why, and that's everything from my V-pin to the market getting ready to crash. I'm going to talk all about it coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome on back into the Game Shack. I'm your host, JDV for Evil Genius Entertainment. As always, you guys are the primary sponsors of this channel, so if you can give me a thumbs up, that would really help. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have, hit that notification bell so you know when videos like this come out. So anyway, I thought I would do an episode on why exactly I did sell a perfectly working real-world pinball game when I love pinball so much. Well, the reasons are really kind of threefold. The first reason, I have a really good virtual pinball game, and I know purists are going to hate that, hear me say that, but the reality is that if you have a top-of-the-line virtual pinball game, you are getting to 90% or 95% of what pinball does. Now, it's not to say that I don't like real-world pinball. I go to the pinball arcade in my hometown all the time. I did play my Street Fighter game and Gorgard game a lot, just nowhere near the amount compared to how much those games cost to own and operate versus how much it's cost to build and operate my V-pin. That kind of leads into the second point, and this is really almost the bigger point, is that I wanted to get out and sell my real-world pinball game while it still has the higher than it probably should have value. What do I mean by that? Well, if you take a look at Facebook, you'll see that pinball prices have come down a little bit from their peak during COVID, but not by very much. And you will see the weird dichotomy of the fact that Sturm can put out a brand new game like Jaws that you can get into for around $6,000, and yet you'll see games from the 80s and early 90s going for $4,000, for $3,000, even $5,000. And I'm not talking about Addams Family. I'm not talking about Twilight Zone. I'm not talking about those A-list God level games, right? I'm talking about Earthshaker. I'm just talking about any kind of game that works at all is selling for $4 or $5 grand, $3 grand, things like that. To get into an EM game, you're looking at $1,000, at least where I live. And that's overpriced by maybe half, at least 40%. I mean, no way should you ever pay more than $800 for an EM game unless it is straight up mint, unless it is absolutely beautiful in every facet and is a good playing game. I just cannot see paying any more than $1,000 for sure for an EM game. So when you couple the fact that Stern is getting those prices down around $5,000 or $6,000 for new pro tables, and the fact that the used market is so expensive, put together with an economy that does not look like it's going to be getting better in the next year or two, and you have a perfect storm for a market collapse in the used pinball game. And that is kind of what I'm not hoping for, but kind of what I expected. So I wanted to get out while the getting was good. Of course, part of owning a real pinball game is maintenance on that game, and I have no abilities electronically. Yes, I can put together a virtual pinball game and do the programming and do some small electrical work, but trying to go through miles of wires on EM games is not my bag, baby. I don't really want to learn how to become an electrician so I can work on solid state or more modern pinball games. I just don't want to do that. So you're left in a weird position if you want to own a real pinball game because you want reliability, and the only way you're going to really get that is in a newer game, but those games start off at $5,000 or $6,000, even used. They're going around for that same amount of price. Simply put, they just don't go down in value, at least they haven't yet. And again, to get into a game from the 90s or early 2000s, you're still looking at paying $4 or $5 grand for those tables that are guaranteed to develop some sort of mechanical problems down the line. You know, for $6,000, I can get into a Star Trek, I can get into Jaws, I can get into some of these new titles, right? So why am I going to spend $4,000 on a game that is 20 years old when for $2 grand more, I can get something that's brand new, delivered to me fresh with a warranty from the factory? 2 years ago, when you look for real world pinball, there was maybe 1 or 2 tables available at any given time. Now you see dozens of pinball tables, in part because people say, hey, this is a way for me to get rich quick, right? This is a way for a lot of easy money. And until the market goes down, real world pinball probably is not worth it unless you're buying into a new Stern or something like that. All right, well, let me know down below what you guys think. Are you still interested in all in real world pinball, or like me, you are really starting to go all in on virtual pinball with, you know, if there's a deal I can't resist in real world pinball, I buy it, or no, it is real world pinball or nothing for you. Let me know down below what you think. All right, so that's going to wrap up this episode. I hope you dig it. If you did, give me a thumbs up on the way out the doors. Please subscribe if you haven't already, all right? Hit the notification bell. Love each other, and until next time, I'll see you guys in a pinball-less Game Shack. Mwah!
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.